Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live at 11:35 on a Wednesday, June 9th, middle of the week. Last night at 12:01 a.m., we're listening to the president of El Salvador and on that Twitter Spaces with 15,000 people, president of a country. You know, folks will quickly downplay that it's El Salvador. Small population relative to other nations, questionable government structures, policies in many regards, and I find that abhorrent. You know, we all judge. Well, many people judge. Not everyone judges, unfairly. But what do I see? I see people, humans, families, a society attempting to govern. Guarantee you, there's one person in the government that's decent and an altruistic politician. I have faith in humanity, faith in people that want to do things right for themselves and their families. And I don't think everyone is bad, everyone is wrong, everyone is evil, everyone is corrupt. I know a lot of El Salvadorians. I used to work with a lot of Salvadorans back in the day. You know, hardworking immigrants that couldn't find decent income in their own nation, traveling well over 1,000 miles to a foreign land. Is that not admirable? Would you not do the same? You know, there's a lot of folks that would be homeless and bums on the street. It's a derogatory term, a bum. I know what I would do for myself and my family. And the last thing I would ever do is be lazy and sit and beg. I would travel to the ends of the earth, any distance needed to achieve better, to pursue better. I think there's something admirable about a lot of the things that we criticize and ridicule. There's something that's meaningful in their unending quest to pursue better. And we talk about that all the time. We talk about we can do better. So I just say that I admire immigrants, legal or illegal. It's not stepping a foot over the border. When you're traveling thousands of miles, that's some serious shit. And folks get caught up on emotions and self protectionism and values that they think are meaningful. But I like to remind myself that a lot of humans struggle, and that's a big thing. And I guess the whole point of this introduction is I don't downplay El Salvador. I think it's significant and meaningful, and I think there will be a very reasonable likelihood for a trend. There will be causality, cause and effect that plays out, where these actions will influence the psychology of other leaders in other nations. And it's not about the the fucking cost of a transaction on the Bitcoin L1 network. There's L2 solutions. They're deploying L2. It's going to be Lightning Network in El Salvador. It's not about criticizing Bitcoin for its deficiencies. Digibyte is far superior to Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has the network effect. It was the first. It is what it is. Folks need to stop complaining that everything isn't the way they want it to be. The system is what it is. Bitcoin was the first. It has the network effect. It has the market cap. It has the people that are interested in buying and selling it. It has the markets. It has the liquidity. It is what it is. And this will occur. This is their choice for very logical reasons. The transactions will be fast. The transactions will be nationwide. They are required to accept it as a form of payment everywhere. The technology will be facilitated at the government level. Wireless networking, software, training, education, the volatility. The processes will be iterated on to accommodate the volatility. People complaining on Twitter like it's too volatile as a currency. Fuck that. It's an asset that has value, therefore it can be used as payment. It's a technology that facilitates transactions, payments across border, transfer of value. Everything else can be iterated on. I'm a software engineer. I know where we are is not where we will be. What we do in software engineering is we define stories. We size the stories. We estimate the quantity of work required to execute the story. We set up a series of stories to define an epic. The epic, the whole goal of it is to iterate towards the next step, to solve problems, to improve efficiency, functionality, effectiveness of products and services. Folks on Twitter don't know what they're talking about. There's a path from point A to point B. There is a path from something that is deficient to something that is efficient. There's a path from something that is not optimal to something that is optimal and better. There's always a way forward. I don't like a lot of the commentary I see on Twitter. Let's get into the stream. I want to talk about your comments, talk about something that's meaningful. Markets go up and down, doesn't matter. Yield. Talk about an introduction that's not necessarily correlated to the title of the stream, but shit, both are pretty good. I was up at like 12:30 last night watching that or listening to that Twitter Spaces. Everybody meaningful in the Bitcoin community was there, including the president of El Salvador on a Twitter Spaces while he was in Congress listening to the opposition debate. Absolutely fascinating, surreal experience. Today's episode is sponsored by Change Angel, the non-custodial swap exchange for social good. Stop depositing on exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto. Non-custodial DeFi or nothing at all. Bam! Let's pop it on the main screen and see who's in the stream. Wow, you guys are going. Always a pleasure, Alex. Yes. Trevor, who's moving to El Salvador? I was asking my wife last night. Will be buying Curve if it trends down? I have a massive curve position. This goes into the title of the stream. Markets go up, markets go down. Who gives a shit? I measure my wealth in the amount of weekly revenue. If you own a pizza shop and the property value gets cut in half, are you selling your business? No one in their right mind is selling their business if they're making $5 grand a week, $10 grand a week. They care about their income. Nobody sells their business. So I don't even look at the value of principal anymore. What I look at is the revenue stream. If my revenue stream goes up or down, or maybe there's an opportunity cost and I need to reallocate my principal, my business to another property, to another territory, such that I could positively affect my business revenue stream, then I do so. I believe that's a decent answer, my friend. Ding, ding. Always a pleasure. Wave mappers. AZ. Thoughts on institutions delaying mass adoption for later, less volatile cycles? If one tweet can wipe out 50% of their balance sheet, they could do whatever they want to do. They could buy whatever they want to buy or not buy what they want to buy. I don't care. What I care about is what I see in the business that I can operate. If they see an opportunity, I'm sure they will take it. It's their prerogative. It's not my necessity nor prerogative to understand what the heck institutions are doing. They are the status quo, and I could care less about most of them. There's some decent institutions out there, but most of them I don't care about. Wave, when I take surf trips to El Salvador, I'll need to bring any cash. No, you will not. You could bring your Bitcoin. and you could spend the Bitcoin, and you could buy Bitcoin. And sure, it's volatile. And look, the price has been going down, the price has been going up. The point is, you can make payments with it. Everything else is a secondary consideration. Sure, you want to accumulate it because the price is likely going to go up. Sure, you're not going to want to spend it because the price is likely to go up. The price may go down, the price may go up. You can still spend it. People put too much thought into, oh, they're never going the whole world isn't going to want to spend it because the price is expected to go up. But you can spend it. It can be used as a payment. If I walk into a damn pharmacy and try and give them a frickin' gold coin, they're going to laugh at me. What a ridiculous arguments. Nick, morning, Noah. Have Bitcoin and Ether and BlockFi. I think I can do better in DeFi. Any suggestions for a relatively safe place to put it to work in DeFi? Well, centralized custodians are decent. What I could say is there's opportunity cost. You can do better no matter what. It's not an easy story how to deploy capital in the DeFi space. My recommendation is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let it sit there until you gain a grasp of the DeFi space. To understand the DeFi space, take $50 and deploy it on Aave. USDC, DAI, GUSD, USDT, whatever you want. But cash. Work with cash. Cash, cash, cash. Don't buy assets. Don't buy volatile assets. And don't buy cum rockets. Don't buy Doge. Shibu Crapu. Buy dollars. Crypto dollars. Deploy the dollars. Earn yield. Earn interest. Understand how DeFi works and then go from there. That's the start. That's how you start, my friend. Tyler, will there be an exchange for CBDC? Will the CBDC be an ERC20 compatible? We have no idea. Speculatively, there's a variety of things that come to my mind. Why would they build their own network when they could utilize the Ethereum network, especially when it becomes POS, which is very consistent with what institutions want. They want to accumulate assets that contribute to systemic infrastructure, give them power, give them power. So if they accumulate Ethereum and they're a POS node operator on the Ethereum network, shit, that probably sounds like that's something they want to do. Will there be nice start following nice content? Thank you, Jacob. FM curve price end of year unknown. I don't know whether Bitcoin will go up or down. I mean, the title of the stream is basically I don't give a shit whether markets go up or down. I measure my value of my wealth in my income. If I'm making $5,000 a week, $10,000 a week, if I'm making $5,000 a week and next week I'm making $7,000, great. If I'm making $3,000, okay. If I'm making $2,000 the week after, I'm probably going to think about opportunity cost and maybe I could deploy my capital elsewhere. So that's it. I'm moving around principal. I'm moving around assets. I'm managing a business. The value of the business is in many regards irrelevant. What's pertinent is the revenue stream. Jacob, right on. El Salvador news is big. It's massive. People are so critical. People are just think down on other people. We're all humans, man. It's not fair. It really isn't. People are too critical. Therese, we can do better. That's right. Most Americans can't even begin to imagine the lengths much of the world have to go through to have anything close to the way of living we have in the U.S. Understatement. Well said. An understatement. Most people are desperate and struggling, financially desperate. They're financially desperate in the United States. People are even more so financially desperate abroad. Entitlement. There's no compassion. It doesn't exist. It's disappointing. It really is. Good morning, everyone. In the process of moving some stablecoin profits into convex, exciting times. Curve is basically a dividend-bearing instrument. You're owning a part of Curve finance. Sure, there's an inflation. It's a decaying inflationary protocol, which means the odds are any position is diluted over time. There's deflation. In the very fact of owning Curve, people are encouraged, incentivized to lock it via their revenue share program, including the decaying inflationary component, which is disinflationary, which is a deflationary pressure over time. So the inflation incentivizes supply disruption, which is a deflation. So inflation is incentivizing deflation. Their protocol is extraordinary. There's no other protocol that is like this. I mean, okay, fine, fine. There's protocols that in DeFi monetary policies that have burn components and incentivize supply disruption, which is the deflationary pressure, but none of them have a revenue share. So the revenue share is really the core of their monetary policy that takes the decaying hyperinflation and incentivized supply disruption, um, broadly their monetary policy to a level that is absolutely fascinating, in my opinion. Thinking about central bank monetary policies and thinking about other prevalent monetary policies in the DeFi space. Uh, Find Bancor. Bancor is the only other monetary. It's quite distinct, very distinct monetary policies and the way they handle the currency. I called it a currency. Um, but they're both probably the most extraordinary monetary policies I could think of. Both unique and both extraordinary. I mean, the vortex and the impermanent loss protection with the monetary policy facilitating that. Yeah. So price action wise, I have a position in Bancor. Just, yeah. Bottom line, I look for monetary policy. I think that's a critical characteristic slash attribute in the assets that we allocate value to. Um, Admiral, I wonder if the fund set up by El Salvador would take advantage of DeFi tools. Speculative at best, but you know, in theory, it makes sense. It's just profound what we do in DeFi. We are so far ahead of the curve. We are so early. It's extraordinary. Most financial institutions cannot access it for regulatory reasons, and it's off the radar for most people. This is a whole nother level of shit that we're playing with. It's very powerful. You know, we are the bank, and most people aren't. It's a big deal. Uh, at least deploying $50 to Aave to understand what that means. Be the bank. It's profound. Um, Kenji's in the house. Always a pleasure. Peter. Peter made a live session. Hi everyone. Howdy. Hi guys. Do game changer for El Salvador. Yeah, I think it's a game changer for a lot more than El Salvador. I finally quit a stream live. I really have been enjoying these videos, man. Please keep them coming. Bear in mind, because El Salvador, it's a sovereign currency, that makes any Bitcoin transaction a foreign currency transaction, which is different tax treatment than an asset, albeit the IRS defines it as an asset, which is fascinating, and because now it's a foreign currency. So as per U.S. regulatory purposes, it is both an asset and a foreign currency. So basically, the status quo and the legacy system has its head up its ass, has no capacity to iterate on policy in a timely fashion to keep up with geopolitical changes and technological innovation. They are so slow, and the sentiment is not just disappointment. It's the process that politics and policy traverses to iterate is antiquated and deprecated. It's so inefficient. It's so behind. It's just disturbing, to say the least. Igor's in the house. Always a pleasure. Steven's in the house. Alex, glad to finally catch your stream. Found you through Tiki and Taiki. Sorry, I always say your name wrong, brother. I always do. I'm a retarded gringo. Taiki, my man. And you two have helped a healthy shift from trading to fun to stacking coins. More coin. What do we want? More coin. When do we want it? Right now. More coin. I got issues. Jacob's in the house. Div, refreshing content. Thank you, sir. You're very welcome. We can do better. I can do better. Even I could do better. Mark, hey Noah, good to see you again. Mr. Wales on Twitter, an interesting character. Yeah, everyone on Twitter is an interesting character. You just got to peer through and see what kind of person they are. peer through the madness, as I often say. What's happening with Curve in August? Supply disruption, disinflation, decrease in emissions. I got to keep up with all these comments. RMS. Is there any simulation tool for Curve, Convex, or DeFi revenue streams? There probably is. I just do it in my head. Hey, listen, you're getting a certain amount of yield. Calculate the amount of money you're making on a weekly basis. And that's how well your business is doing. And that's the number that matters. If you need to reallocate capital to increase your revenue stream, good. Adjust. If you need to move to a different platform, adjust. If you need to move to a different network because maybe gas fees are eating into your revenue, there's Polygon. These are the choices we have, but go for the revenue stream. I think this business is a good business to be in. Entrepreneurs you are. Is it better to buy CVX, CRV, or Curve? So what I do is you have to check for the arbitrage opportunity. So I buy Curve, and then I first buy Curve, and then I try to swap it for CVX, CRV. And if I'm going to get a bonus, I'm going to get a bonus. If I'm trying to buy 1,000 Curve, and then I see if I swap it to CVX, CRV, I'm getting 1,010, 1,020, 1,050. Bam! That's a win. But if it's less, if it's an anti-arb, I'll deposit it on Convex and I'll just increase the supply. We can do better, Dawkins. That's right. Nick, thanks for taking the time to answer my question on Twitter. Thank you. Appreciate your work and help. You're very welcome. I'm always around to the best of my abilities. Which platform is best for yield farming? Very subjective. There's countless platforms. There's multiple networks. Arbitrum's coming. Uniswap is a heck of a revenue stream. Depends what kind of exposure you want. Do you want exposure to volatile assets? Do you want double-sided volatile asset exposure? So Uniswap V3 is a big deal, and Visor is a big deal. I don't hold any Visor anymore. I don't care. I don't have time for these types of assets. And I'm much more interested in the platforms. Much more interested in the platforms and where they are, how entrenched they are in the ecosystem, and what kind of velocity they have, and growth and exposure, and momentum throughout social media. Very meaningful to me. So I don't have answers of what is the best. The best is varies from person to person as it's subjective. Maybe the Aave yield farm game with Curve on Polygon. It's basically free gas. You could compound the crap out of everything. It basically costs nothing for transactions. Where in Ethereum, which just cranked up to 53 Gwei, is probably $100, $125 a transaction right about now. Popping in front. Alan, countries in Latin America will follow now after El Salvador. Watch and enjoy. Yeah, because if they don't follow along, they will be at a disadvantage. So they will be forced to follow suit. James popping in from work to say hi all. We'll be watching later. Always a pleasure, my friend. BTC fluctuation matters. Ignoring it won't make it go away. How do you theorize it eventually stabilize? Maybe it doesn't need to stabilize with regard to payment or capacity to facilitate payments. How do you compensate for volatility? You vary the quantity of Bitcoin used in the transaction. If something's $50, you either pay more or less Bitcoin depending on the relative price of Bitcoin. So all of this will be worked out in a very organic way, meaning trial and error, and they have to experiment. But the point is to do it. No country has tried it. They're trying it. How do you surmount issues? By observing and analyzing the issue, identifying possible solutions, testing and executing the damn solutions until you find one that achieves the desired outcome. That's how it works. That's called iteration. And me as a software engineer, that's my entire business. I understand how to get from A to Z by defining the entire damn alphabet. A, B, C, D, you size a bunch of stories, you define an epic, you go from one story to another until you get to the end result that is desired. It's called iteration. And in order to start it, you have to start it. So a country finally started it, and people are questioning, how do you get to Z? Nobody freaking knows. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you start. Define the stories, define the epics, and start your sprints. That's the way you get from A to Z. Alan, thank you for your continuous breath of fresh air from the Florida Panhandle. I'm on the opposite side. I'm way down south, South Florida. You up in the Panhandle. Man, I love this state. What a great state. How can someone get on Twitter Spaces and hear these meetings? I don't know where to find it at the moment, but it was online last night for hours. About 15,000 people. I was crazy. It was literally a Twitter post. Then you click on it, and it opens the Twitter Space. That's probably Anthony Papagliano who retweeted it, or one of the other characters. Peter, your thesis portfolio is a balance sheet. From what I understand, you shift from collateral assets, revenue-bearing assets such as Curve, is due to capital efficiency and greater yield. Yes, I will migrate my principal in whatever asset it is currently deployed to an opportunistic play to increase my revenue stream. Or maybe a defensive play, maybe cash, increase cash on the balance sheet depending on market conditions. Now, I had that for a while. I had probably about 20, 25% principal cash about a week ago, and I've been slowly buying more and more of my chosen desired asset to increase my revenue stream. Yeah, 18% on cash, but my chosen asset's cranking out 110, 120% a year right about now. So I'm slowly increasing my revenue stream, deploying more cash as principal, um, as working capital, depending on how comfortable I feel with the market conditions. I like to see my principal increase. I really don't give a crap. What I care about is making $5,000 a week and bumping it to $7,000 a week, because that's compounding my principal. None of these assets, none of this value is something that contributes to my overhead at this time, because I'm going to get off this call and take my ass back to work. So this is all literally a self-sustaining business operation, just with the where the yield and revenue is going into the growth of the business operation. This compounding business. Fascinating. Nick, thank you. Just follow up on my previous question. I already have 40% of my portfolio in cash put to work in DeFi. So I have BTC and F ready to put to work. I am comfortable with DeFi. Very nice. So where to deploy that? Ethereum's easy to deploy in the DeFi space. Bitcoin usually needs to go through a custodian, either a centralized custodian like WBTC or a semi-decentralized, inevitably to be decentralized custodian like RenVM. And both are fully functional, facilitating the deployment of Bitcoin on the Ethereum network, and frankly, for that matter, also on Binance Smart Chain, as well as the Polygon network. There's probably options, if not available, inevitably to be available on Avalanche, Phantom, Solana, and all the EVM compatible solutions. Solana's not EVM, but point being, it is a smart contract network. So how and when and why to optimally put it to work, it's trial and error. And I can't necessarily answer a lot of questions because I don't know the answers. I don't have much Bitcoin, nor do I have much Ethereum. I think there's too much opportunity cost with them. How about them apples? Folks are out there scrambling over Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I think there's too much opportunity cost with them. How about that? So folks are thinking about hyper Bitcoinization. Folks are thinking about Ethereum and nodes and POS, and I'm out there saying, yeah, I can do better. So I'm early, and I don't think I'm wrong. I hope I'm right. I hope I don't have any adverse financial effects due to my choices. But thus far, my ideology and business strategy and modeling have been effective and functional and working as intended. So I make changes when I deduce that a change is required. Unless a change is required, the status quo remains. My capital is deployed, is producing yield. The business model works conceptually. It makes sense. I got 1 Bitcoin and 32 Ethereum. I don't think I need any more. I have the conviction I need to have that kind of position, and I don't overposition. A lot of folks out there have 50% of their portfolio in Ethereum and Bitcoin. Sure, I mean, that's fine. It takes a lot to be able to have conviction and be comfortable with it. And that's comes with experience. There's no reason not to have the conviction to just buy Bitcoin and DCA. Forget about everything else. I mean, that's a viable financial strategy. Probably the same thing is applicable to Ethereum as well. DCA, only hold Ethereum, multiples of 32. Weekly paycheck, you dump 50% into Ethereum. So that's a viable strategy. Probably the most important thing is to be comfortable. Be comfortable. You have to be comfortable. The charts look quite good. I'm basically looking at the daily and the weekly charts now. I could care less about the short-term time frames. This is interesting that Bitcoin has been outperforming Ethereum for a little bit. That's interesting. But otherwise, these charts look great. Look at Ethereum above the 0.382 fib retrace. And look at Bitcoin. It's above 0.5 on the fib. So it's right here. Look at that. 0.5 is this congestion zone. Goes up, it goes down. It's a source of collateral. It's pristine collateral, as Raul says. So take your debt and put your debt to work. Put the collateral to work. Make your revenue stream. Everyone gets short-sighted. They're like, oh, Bitcoin goes up. Nobody should be selling their Bitcoin when it goes up. Peter Schiff's an idiot. He knows nothing about business. Most people have no idea about business in the investing world. They know how to buy low and sell high. And that is so old and tiresome. Trading is old and tiresome. It's silly. I have no interest in executing financial strategies as such, and which is why I why I promote and share this ideology, because everyone did it wrong. The vast majority of the market does it wrong. They lose money. New market participants do it wrong. New market participants should be buying stablecoins and dollars if they want to get a taste of the space. Shouldn't be buying the volatile assets because they don't know how to stomach the volatility. I'll watch my portfolio get cut in half, and I'm going to go to sleep at night and not even blink an eye. Because I know, so let's say the portfolio is at full value today and I made $5,000. And then the portfolio gets cut in half tomorrow, and I wake up in the morning and I made $4,000 or $5,000. I don't care about the value of the portfolio. I care about the revenue stream. That's what I'm talking about. Derek, I love earning through Elrond. So I was mentioning all those platforms, and Elrond is very much one of them. 16.8% on your Eagle. Bear in mind that's inflationary on POS. So what it needs is a deflationary counterpart from a monetary policy standpoint. I consider Eagle the bag that got away. I like their social media, and I like their team. It's okay. Can't own everything you want to own. I think there's great potential for the Elrond network. Exchange tokens as well. So you get good yield. I don't have many opinions about it. I'm not exposed to that market, but I know the brand and the technology, and it's definitely a name that's on my radar. Will I eventually deploy capital to it? Probably not. You can't own everything you want to own. That's it. So that's it. Enjoy. I define Elrond as the bag that got away, like that whole girl that got away narrative that guys say. And so, what if Trump meant digital dollar? I don't think about Trump much. He's the man is literally malfunctioning. There's not a rational thought in his mind. I have never heard words out of his mouth that are remotely interesting. There's some people that I hear and I'm like, this person's articulate. This person has good ideas. And I'm listening to the words, and it affects me, and it's meaningful, and they're conveying good ideas. There's not a word that came out of that man's mouth that was remotely interesting. If I heard him speaking, I'd be like, I'm gonna go do something else. His brain doesn't work in an interesting way. Not even a remotely interesting way. His thoughts are just not palatable. That's probably the most professional way I could describe my opinion. I don't mean it in a derogatory way. There's nothing wrong with people not having an intellectual capacity to articulate. There's nothing wrong with a person not being smart. It's okay. Everyone is unique and human, and everyone has deserves to be respected. I just don't find him intelligent or interesting at all. Nothing about him is impressive. His business isn't impressive at all. I know how to judge an impressive business. I know how to judge interesting technology. I've looked and scoured the stock market for years. I've looked and scoured countries and monetary policies and central banks and all the brilliant minds that Real Vision has exposed me to. I've looked and scoured the DeFi space and the broad crypto space, the technologies, the projects, the programmers, the software, the innovation. I don't find anything interesting about what the man did with regard to a business. Boring, and not something I would ever do. I find real estate business boring. Do you think UniV3 will capture some of Curve's market share with the new tight and deep UniV3 pools? Sure. They don't have Curve's monetary policy, and nor its network effect. Thank you for your invaluable info, keeping us well informed on how this space is evolving. You're welcome. Mixed mix. It's not a double negative. It's a mixed mix. Miss Hacker's in the house. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a bit. Hey Noah, thoughts on Anchor Protocol by Terra? Right now they're paying 18. Yeah, you could get 18 on the on Aave on Convex and get your emissions and Curve. Anchor's cool. Terra's cool. It's just off my radar. I don't find it interesting right now. I'm just wondering when the El Salvador FUD is going to start. It probably started before it even began. Anarcho, should I wait for the next top to reorganize my portfolio when it's spread too thin, or do it before the next run up? I don't know. You'll only know if you did it right in hindsight. After you do it, if it turns out well. Nobody knows how their modifications and adjustments are going to turn out until you do it. And everyone's portfolio is different. Everyone's psychology is different. Everyone's choices and interest in different assets and platforms is different. And only you could assess whether the choices and changes you made were good or bad. Nobody will have the answers for you. You have to figure it out on your own. But the Discord forum, we're sharing our experiences. And therefore, we know how each other is doing. And that helps us all grow and be better. So the Discord forum is a wonderful place. It's a heck of a community that we have. It's quite enjoyable. I love just sitting in there and helping and talking to people and knowing that we all could do better and we're doing better together. It's a wonderful community. Kenji, more coin. My man. Yeah. Sonny's in the house. Good morning, fellows. Always a pleasure, my friend. Damien, thank you for being such a good crypto dad. You're very welcome. Maybe I'm a crypto dad kind of. I think of my kid. A lot of my content, I'm thinking of my kids and how to teach and how to share the ideas that come to my mind. And everyone deserves to know what I know. Everyone deserves to have a different perspective. You're sure as hell not getting the right perspective from media. Oh, you're sure as hell not being informed and educated by CNBC. I watch CNBC. I take it for what it's worth, but I see things differently. That's the bottom line. Demir's in the house. Heads up. Solana is getting lending, borrowing from several platforms soon. A lot of building behind the scenes. I like it, my friend. And the second I find the platform that shows me that my currently deployed strategy has opportunity cost, I will migrate my capital. I need to make sure that the platform is solid, that the bridges are stable and reliable, the interoperability solutions are effective, tried and tested, and I'll deploy my capital. I have no interest in speculating on these coins anymore, on platform tokens and max volatile assets. It's just not for me. I don't. Curve is very different because it's literally it's like a REIT. It's a dividend bearing instrument. There is no other asset in the crypto space right now. So I see everything else as opportunity cost. Don't have to do what I do. This is just the story that I tell you guys. And this is a story that's describing and representing the sentiment that I have and the feelings that I have and that contribute to the choices that I make. What I do is not necessarily what everyone should do. You have to come to your own conclusions. You have to be your own self-sovereign with fiduciary responsibilities, self-fiduciary responsibilities. I got to wrap up the stream, but I want to try and hit a couple more comments. You're introducing me to a contrarian way of looking at the whole market. I totally avoided this market till a couple of weeks ago. Now LP at curve, earning juicy dividend. Thank you for your wisdom. You're very welcome. Cash works in the crypto space. If you don't want exposure to volatility, if you don't understand a platform, don't engage with it. But you can have DAI, USDC, USDT, GUSD, and you can make cash. You can make a business out of dollars in DeFi by facilitating liquidity to market makers earning transaction fees and often incentivized returns from a platform's monetary policy. Turn cash into a business in DeFi. Legacy finance is pure opportunity cost. Nowhere in legacy finance can you deploy cash, hold cash, have cash, and make money using cash. Legacy finance is a joke. Gillatron, what do you think about Titan's platform? I do not know enough to speak about it. Shame I cannot afford L1. Love to have curve position and convex. Sounds sweet. Yeah, so stick to L2, stick to Polygon, and do the Aave play. And you take on so principal or the balance sheet is a combination of principal and debt, and you provide liquidity to Aave. Aave allows you to take debt. You take that debt, you throw it on curve, and you compound because transaction fees are free. Compound and boom, and that's a viable strategy. I was doing that strategy like a week or two ago, and that's all we talked about. And now I saw opportunity cost, and I saw capacity to do better. Bear in mind, Convex was launched like 3 weeks ago at this point. And I will change. It will change again. And when it does, that's what happens, and that'll be reflected in the stories that I tell. Hey Noah, have you seen the massive short interest buildup on Bitfinex? Any thoughts? Is just as big as before the 19th May dump. Okay. I will measure the effects of any dump on my weekly revenue stream, and I will adjust accordingly. Maybe insiders, maybe whatever. It's irrelevant. And look, Bitcoin's up at 36. That's above the 0.5. I like what I see. I look at the charts just for entertainment. I'm becoming very radical in the way I look at the markets, and I'm forcing myself to change. And let them dump, let them buy. They could do what they want to do. I have no interest. The fact is how much money I'm making on a weekly basis. Star, I don't know anything about Unilend. Giorgio threw some capital into Alchemix for 50% APY, took out 50% as my loan and put it onto Curve. Then took my Curve LP tokens on Alchemix Farm for 20% APY. Yes! Ah! Just because I do what I do doesn't mean there's other wonderful opportunities. Alchemix is one heck of a DeFi protocol. Scroopy Trooples. Got the ALUSD up on curve on the top list of volume. That's big stuff. So I like that platform. Doesn't mean I'm deploying my capital to it because I could do better and I see opportunity cost. It all depends on everything. The functionality of the platform is undeniable. It's a free loan that pays itself off over the course of a year, 2 years. That's ridiculously awesome. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You did a wonderful job, and I think it's a good choice. Growth DeFi on BSC. I'm surprised. I have no interest in BSC, my friend. I don't like it, and I don't have interest in anything that's created on it. As a U.S. resident, I am not allowed to use it. The bridge is blocked. It is locked. It is restricted. I cannot even use it if I wanted to. Brooks, up. Star, your way is the way to go. Best way to protect capital. It's a strategy. And it's an ideology, and we're here to discuss stories and talk and try and find our common way. And that's why I love the Discord, because this is just literally a giant monologue by me. It's just me talking about what I'm thinking. And whereas in Discord, everyone has a voice, and I love that. I really like that. That's just something I'm very proud of, that everyone coming together and sharing their stories. This is my story. Everyone has a story. What do you hold the most of then, Gilitron? Right now, my largest position is CVX CRV. I have a large VE curve position. I have a large cash position, probably about 10-15% of the portfolio principal in cash that I want to deploy to juice the revenue stream. I actually bumped a decent CVX position, starting like 70, 75, 80%. Um, very volatile. It was down from like $20 down to like low sevens yesterday. Um, but a small percent, 5% of the portfolio at this point. And it's nice yield. But that, you see, I consider that a risk on. It's part of the principle that's generating yield, but you see, I'm actually thinking about the price of the asset. Whereas like the CVX CRV, I'm not really thinking about the price of the asset. I'm thinking more of the recurring revenue stream that it produces as the business model. But I am thinking about the 50 chip that I have deployed as a CVX. And that is something I will liquidate if I can do better. And I'll liquidate it very quickly. Sonny, money is stablecoin earning interest over the top. Incentives is better than trading. You make money regardless of the market is up or down. That's the game. Can't lose with stablecoins unless there's a systemic flaw in the technology, in which case the whole system is screwed. And this is our best hope of anything that's superior to the status quo. So this is where I deploy my capital, and I'm very comfortable with it. Igor, I'm stomaching volatility by losing my hair. My friend, I know the feeling. Everlost, Elrun has 30% of coins in one wallet. This is ultra red alert territory. Well, yeah, Polygon has a contract that has 8 multisigs, or multi-sig with 8 persons. So, and there's a lot of smart contracts out there that are deficient. I don't discount the questionability of it, but I also don't fear it too much. To get asset liquidation price, do you just divide by the health factor? Yes, that is correct, McMahon. Everlost seems to be a smart contract, but the top accounts still seem quite worrisome. Considerable, not worrisome for me. Hello from Monaco, Chef at Sea. It's a pleasure. Beautiful over there. Is there a decent Polygon bridge, please, sir? Avoiding ETH bridge. Yeah, not something that I'm familiar with, because I would just use Ethereum. I know it's expensive. Was it OK Exchange? Now has direct withdrawal to Polygon. I believe that's correct. Do your due diligence. Someone will respond in the comments, because that was news on Twitter the other day that a very big exchange allowed direct withdrawal to Polygon, avoiding the Ethereum bridge. Yes, indeed. Garth, hi. Thanks for your content. I'm over trading. Much prefer farming stables. Very glad to have the use of Polygon. Polygon is a big deal, and I really like the platform and made a lot of capital going from 70 cents to like whatever the heck it was. I don't even remember at this point, but we got in at 70 cents. That was a nice entry. Do you have your own Discord? Sorry, I'm new here. Garth, of course. Check my Twitter profile. And I got to put it back in the stream. Folks have asked me to do that. But if you go into the profile and you see here is I'll put it in here. Boop. There you go, Garth. Mix. What's your Discord? There it is. Look, yeah. Anyway, you got it. Quick off ramp for Polygon mainnet USDT. So I don't have it. I don't know internationally. It's a pleasure from Monaco, my friend. Um, but I use Gemini in the US, and I really want a crypto debit card. So when I want to consume capital, I could just use a debit card. Um, the beauty of it is taxation is easy. Your yield, you just take as I would say, most accountants would say it's reasonable to take a zero cost basis, and you just pay full interest on the yield. So take out 5 grand, you keep some on the side, and that's what a business would do. A business closes shop at the end of the week with 20 grand profit. They got to keep money on the side for the tax requirement. So this is just like a business, boys and girls. RJ, great stream. Thank you very much. I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Uh, Giving, not selling. That's right, mix. I'm not selling anything. I know Discord's $10 a week, guys, but I have my hopes and dreams, and I would love to just tell stories all day long. And I think a lot of folks would want to listen to this story, so that's why I'm trying that. And I don't mean to insult anyone by charging that $10 a week. I don't mean to do that, but I think it's reasonable. And you're all very welcome to criticize me or propose alternatives or propose ideas. I am a very resilient and uh, accepting person. If I lend and borrow stables and Aave, what do you recommend as a health factor? I always went for like 2.5 to 3. Hey Noah, how do you choose a DeFi platform to farm? It's not an easy question, my friend. Safety. Industry majors. Stick to the industry majors. Stick to the titans. Stick to the big boys, and then you don't have to think about much. How do you have an LLC for your business? I do not, but I'm contemplating something from a corporate standpoint. It's just all the regulatory filing requirements, and it's just maybe I'll just file it against my social and call it a day. This corporate shit is annoying. Yeah. So okay, coin to Polygon. See, dry fire, thank you. Quick swap, mixed, put the Matic chain on your MetaMask. Yeah, that's the first step you have to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 12:28 p.m. This is a heck of a stream today. As always, I wish everyone a wonderful day. Thank you all for joining. Discord, I'll be in all day long. 91 people in the stream, 49 likes. We can do better. Y'all have a wonderful day. More Twitter content coming as best I can. Office hours if I can. And I will see you tomorrow. Peace.